Today we are going to do analytics webinar on dashboard reporting with MS Excel. This is a part of IB Professional School webinars that we conduct every weekend, and the topics that are picked in the webinars are related to analytics industry. And very important topic in MS Excel is dashboard reporting. Now, first of all, we have to understand what is exactly a dashboard. Dashboard is basically a graphical representation of your data, and the graphical representation is done through charts. So we have a lot of data, and on a daily basis we have to run some little bit of analysis, a quick analysis by looking at some charts. So as and when you pick a particular element of your data, you can see the charts keep on changing, and by the changing chart we get some information out of the charts. So that is basically dashboard. Dashboard is graphical representation of the data, and we do analysis through that data. Now I'm going to take up an example. Over here you see I have a data of date, region, sales rep, customer, product, price, units sold, cost of goods, sales and gross profit. Now this is the entire data, and based on this raw data that I have, the person who is, let it be my manager or let it be my client, they might be interested in doing some analysis. On the raw data, you can't run very good analysis. So what we do, we keep on summarizing the data. And through the summaries, we can analyze. Now, even if I create summaries, sometimes I may get the answer a little faster, sometimes I may not. So what do we do? To get a visual understanding of the data quickly, we convert our summaries into chart. So what we are going to do over here in the dashboard is we keep one sheet for the raw data. So this one sheet I'm going to keep for the raw data. We are going to create a sheet called the pre-processing sheet. What is the role of a pre-processing sheet? We are going to keep all our calculations, all our summaries, and every rough work that we are doing before we actually create a dashboard in this particular pre-processing sheet. And then we are going to have a main sheet called the dashboard, where all the charts are going to be displayed, and depending on what kind of information a user or a client is looking for, whatever he has made a selection of, the charts would automatically update themselves to help them in analysis. Before I progress with this particular example, I would like to show you one of the examples. Let's say this is one of the examples of the dashboard. So what is happening in this dashboard? This is a very nice dashboard that has been created. As you can see, this has only charts. Over here there is a reference cell that is given, and depending on which month a person is picking up, let's say we pick up June 2009, as and when we pick June 2009, all the charts get updated with the data of June 2009. Over here we are analyzing, this is our raw data. Over here what we are analyzing is, we have region, we have products, we have customer, we have salesperson, and we have the sales for the various months of each year, 2008, 2009 and so on and so forth, and we want to analyze data based on that. So if you look at the dashboard, what has been done is they are analyzing the data of sales region wise, they are analyzing the data of customer of the sales customer wise, analyzing the data of sales product wise and salespersons wise. Plus, we are also analyzing the data of in the entire data that is given to us from January 2008 to December 2009, comparing the sales of all the months in all years that we have, and also we have another axis that indicates the growth. It is showing the growth. Now the development, this is a development chart that has been developed, and depending on what you pick and choose, let's say I want to analyze the growth of South region for all the products. So when I pick South, all products, all customers, all sales rep, this is the chart that came up. And when you saw that whenever I changed my selection, the chart changed accordingly. Since 2009 is a reference month over here, 2009 is highlighted in this particular bar, and other data is corresponding to only the South region, all products, all customer, all sales. So this is in a nutshell what a dashboard would look like. Now there are certain things that we need to follow even before we can start working with the dashboard. First of all, the dashboards that are created are not actually created for us, who the creators of the dashboard. When we talk about dashboard, we're going to create dashboard for someone else. Our users may be a team leader, my boss may be there, or my client may be there. So step number one that you need to understand is based on the raw data. First of all, understand your raw data properly. And once you've understood the raw data, sit with the client, sit with the team leader and understand from this raw data what is important to them, what is that they want to analyze, and accordingly we'll have to come up with the charts. Now, for example, in this particular data, I have got date, region, sales rep, customer, product, price, and so on and so forth. Now, when I'm sitting with my client says, okay, this is my daily data that I receive. And what I'm interested in is I want to analyze my sales product wise. For various months, I want to understand which product did better than the others and what was the total sales of that particular product. So sales wise, I want to do product analysis, that is important to me. Plus, I also want to understand region wise. For each month, I want to understand what was the total sales in region wise also. So once my user gives me his requirement on what he is interested in out of the entire data, we go ahead and sit and visualize the charts that we want. So in my head, I'm going to visualize, okay, so I want a chart. Since I'm doing a comparison, I would either go for a column chart or a bar chart, and I would do a region wise sales summary for a particular month, and I'm going to do product wise sales summary for a particular month. So this I have already visualized. So now when the chart is clear to me, the what kind of chart my client or my user is looking for, now I'll go ahead and create summaries that will end up, which will help me to create the charts. So this is the raw data. In the pre-processing sheet, I'm going to create summaries from where the charts would be developed. Now, how do we create summary? It depends on the data that you have. It depends on how the data is laid out. The best way to summarize your data in Excel is definitely pivot tables. However, in some of the cases, like in the example that I was showing you, the pivot tables would not be able to use a pivot table, since the layout of the data is such that it fails. So in that case, we would have to use some Excel functions like Sumifs and Countifs, and the other functions as the Vlookup and match and index and if functions. All these functions that we have learned in Excel, all the tools that you've learned in Excel would now be utilized in creating a dashboard. And where is it created? It's basically used in the pre-processing sheet where you're creating the summary from the raw data. Now the data that I have, I've got a date, I've got region, I've got sales rep. Now the output that I'm looking for is not day wise, because the data that I have is a day wise data. Output that I'm looking for is in terms of months. So I would want a summary where I would want for each month what was the total sales region for all different regions, and for each month what was the total sales for all different products, because I would like to create charts where I'm able to analyze for a given month what was which region did the best in terms of sales and which product did the best in terms of sales. So this is the output. So now the data that I have, the kind of data I have, I can easily use a pivot table, and hence I'm going to go to the pre-processing sheet. I'm going to go to the home tab, insert tab, pivot table, select my data which is in raw data. I'm going to put it in existing sheet. Okay. and I'm going to populate this pivot table to get the desired summary. So what I'm looking for a summary of month-wise regional sales and month-wise product sales. So in order to get the months, I'll have to work with the field of date. So this is my date field. Date I'm going to drop in the row. Then I have region, which I'm going to drop in the column. And then I want to summarize by sales, which I'm going to drop in add to values. Now you see this is the daily dates that I'm getting. So I can group it in pivots. I'm going to use the group function. I want to group by months. And I click OK. So this is grouping by months. So for various months, but this is not done based on the year. Okay. So this is only monthly total on the various months, how much it's been in each region, what was the total sales. And similarly, I'm going to create another summary which does a summary of the month-wise product sales summary. I'm going to go to the raw data, go to insert, pivots. So it picked the entire data. I'm going to put it in the existing sheet. All my summaries are going to be created in this pre-processing area. So I'm going to put it in pre-processing A30. And again the same process, I'm going to put the date in the row label and product in the column label and sales in the add values. So this summary is also ready for me. Now when you're going to create pivot, I'm not going to create a chart. When you're going to create a chart, you're not going to create a chart for all the months, all the regions. So like I showed you in the previous example, what does the user do? The user picks one month and the chart only shows up for that particular month. So what we need to do, out of this summary, again we need to extract the data which is pertaining to what the user has picked. So step number one, what I want to do is first of all give a choice, a drop down list to the user from where he can pick and choose. Now this drop down list that we are going to create can be created either using your form controls or you can create using data validation. I'm going to use data validation list. So I'm just going to pick this list from here and paste it, and I'm going to name this list so that I can use in the other sheet. I'm naming it months. Once I've done that, I'm going to go to dashboard. Let's say C2 is where I want the list to show up. So data validation, I'm going to go to the list, and the name of the list which I want to show up over here is month. I'm just going to go back and quickly check. Oh, I named it months, so it has to be months. Let's check very quickly, and yes, the list is ready. Going back to the pre-processing sheet. Okay, so as and when a person is picking any month over here, let's say the person picked April, my chart of April should only be visible over here. So now I have to connect this cell of C2 to my pre-processing such that it can extract the data as per the user's choice. So we are going to pick any one cell, put equal to sign and refer to the cell in the dashboard C2. Since there is a data validation list, it does not allow me to select, but I can say dashboard exclamation C2. So now when a person is picking any month over there, automatically the month over here also gets updated. Now for April, for these various months, I want to get the sales. So how would I do that? What we are doing out of a summary or out of a table, we are trying to extract something. And whenever we are working on extracting, whenever we have to extract something in Excel, the best function that we utilize is Vlookup and Hlookup. And if we are doing extraction based on position, we use index. So over here it's not position, so it's going to match the month, and based on that it's going to give me a value. So I'm going to use a VLOOKUP. Lookup value is going to be April. Table array is going to be this entire table, comma. For column index number, I'm going to utilize the function of max so that I can write one formula and copy paste for the other regions. My lookup value would be northeast. My lookup array would be the header, 0 for exact match, and then 0 for exact match in case of VLOOKUP also. And before I copy paste, I'm going to fix my cells, my array, and B19 I'm going to fix the row because my data is kept only in one row, and copy and paste. And let's quickly check whether we get the right answer or not. So April, 18,000, 10,000, 8,000, 19, 23, and total. So everything is going on over here. So all the data we have received. So now I have to create a chart using this summary that has been created. So I'm going to go to the dashboard again. Beneath this particular month tab, I'm going to create the chart. So charts, we're going to go to insert, pick a recommended chart. Since we are doing a comparison, a good chart to pick would be a column chart or a bar chart. So I'm going to pick a column chart, slide it up over here. Get the data for the chart by select data, and you can simply go in the pre-processing and select this data over here. Once I've selected, just quickly checking the legends and everything are fine. So region is coming over here, the month of April, and the sales value are coming over here. So this is a basic chart that has been developed. Now let's see how it is working. If I change the month, let's say I make it July, my chart is automatically changing. If I want to analyze for December, again quickly, when I pick December, I know, okay, southeast region did the best. So this is the kind of work that you are expected to do in a dashboard. Now we can also, using our text functions, using things like ampersand, which helps us to concatenate. Instead of even a person looking at the chart, he can look at the chart, and the bottom we can also create a statement which automatically updates itself. For example, at the bottom, I would like to say in the month of December, Southeast region had the maximum sales. And if the month changes, let's say it's May, so it should say in the May region, let's say Midwest did the maximum. So in the May region, Midwest region had the maximum sales. So a statement like this I want at the bottom. And again, as in when a user is changing the choice, I want the statement at the bottom to also update itself. So over here we are going to use a text function. So the first we are going to use basically concatenation. So first thing I want to put is for the month, which is a text for the month of. Now for the month of, which month will depend on the user. So we can simply go ahead and pick it up from over here. I can refer to this cell of pre-processing A20. So it will come for the month of December, ampersand, the maximum sales was in, I want to say, whichever the region was. So for this purpose, in order to get the sales, I would have to use a max function because I want to find which was the maximum sales, and depending on that I'll also have to use an index function in order to extract the region. So first let's put max, so maximum of these 5, and I want to find out which region is there. So I'll use an index function. So first thing I have to give an array. This is going to be my array. For this purpose, For this purpose, just to create this statement, I'm just going to transpose this particular summary that I've created. Okay, now the summary is there. Going back to that statement, so equal to for the month of, and over here we would want the month to show up. The maximum sales is for, and we want the region to show up, so we'll use index. And in the index, the first thing it asks is for is an array. So this is my array, comma. Then it asks which row number. Then I can use a match function to find the row number. Match, what would be the lookup value? The lookup value will be the maximum sales. I'm going to use a max function over here. And in which array I have to look for? This is the array I need to look for, comma 0. This ends up the match function, and then I'm back in my index. So I have my array, I have given it the row number, and which column it has to get from is column number 1, and then ending the whole statement. So for the month of December, the maximum sales is for, and this whole function will fetch me the region dash. I'll just have to put the word region over here and full stop. Now let's see how it works. For the month of December, the maximum sales is for the southeast region. Now if I go ahead and change the month to, let's say, July, so automatically my chart changed. And let's look at the statement at the bottom. For the month of July, the maximum statement is for the northeast region. So this is the kind of things that you would do in a dashboard. Now this is one chart that I've created. I have to create one more chart. So I'm going to go back to the pre-processing, and I'm going to link again. I'm going to link this cell directly to this particular cell, because automatically I'll get July, and what I want this time is the products. So I'll go ahead and pick my products, and again I'm going to apply the Vlookup and match function in order to get the sales. So this is my lookup value. This entire table is my lookup array. Match function to write only one formula. This is my lookup value. This is my lookup array, 0 for exact match and 0 for exact match of Vlookup. Again, my lookup value is going to be common to all the products. So fixing that, fixing my arrays, fixing my array of match, and B46 is basically in the row, all my products in the row, hence I'm fixing the row. Once this is done, the same process, I'm going to copy paste and get the sales for each and every product. Belen is 0. Let's just quickly check. For the month of July, yeah, Belen is 0. That's why it's coming out to be empty. Now, going back to the dashboard, again we're going to work with insert, put a column chart over here, and right click, select data, and in the data, go ahead and go to the pre-processing sheet, and again pick this entire table. So let's change the month again. Once we change the month, let's say November, so automatically both my charts updated themselves, and over here I've made a statement which tells the user which region had the maximum sales for that given particular month. Again, similar thing you can do for the products also. Now the summary and the charts that you're creating may be simple, like the one that I've created right now for you, or they may be a little complicated to work with. So your maximum time that will go in a dashboard is basically going to go in the summary part, because depending on the raw data, depending on what kind of charts is expected, what kind of analysis is expected from the client or from the team members or the team lead, your summaries may become simple or very, very complicated. So if you know Excel very well, if you know the basic tools very well, if you know the Excel functions of especially the conditional functions very well, this should not be very tough for you. Now another thing, if you would have noticed over here, that not only I had a drop down for all the regions, but I also created a tab for all. What if I want to analyze my sales based on the region or based on the product for all the months? That provision is still not over here. But there is something called grand total. Now, people will not relate to the word grand total versus all. So, how do I make change in my pre-processing sheet that if anybody picks the word all, it automatically picks the total of all the months or all the for the region wise and the product wise. So, if somebody is picking a month all, I should be able to pick these particular sales value. So what you can do, go in the pivot table and where the all is grand total is written, just replace the grand total with all. And similarly, I'm going to do that same process over here at the bottom. Right now, let's go and check. Before we go and check this list that we had created for the data validation for the cell in the dashboard, again I'm going to change this to all. So once we go to the dashboard, let's check quickly. We have something called all, and once we click on all, again we are getting the analysis of the total sales for all the months, not for one particular month. For the month of all, the maximum sales is north region. So again we can use an if function and modify the statement that if the cell is all, then we can make a different statement. Otherwise we can use the same concatenate statement. So this is all about basics of your dashboard. And again, we can have 4 to 5 charts and we can connect it to one cell. Like I have connected C2 and I have 2 charts over here. You should also go ahead and format the charts. Now, a couple of things. See, dashboard is not only all about calculations in Excel, it is also about the view, the output, the product that you're giving to the user. So when you're creating a dashboard, couple of things to keep in mind is, first of all, do not crowd the page in Excel way too much. Like, don't put 10 charts over here because then it becomes crowded, it looks clumsy, it is not very good to look at. So put 4 to 5 charts maximum. And when you create a dashboard, you have to create dashboard such that when I open Excel, I'm able to get a complete view in one place. It should not be that I have to scroll up and down to look at my charts, because I, as a user of the dashboard, may not even know that you have some other charts lying at the bottom of the Excel sheet. So as and when I open the sheet, I should get the full view, exactly the way we had seen in this example. When I opened Excel, I saw all the 5 charts. Now what else is good about this thing? First of all of them have the same color, all of them have the same format. This is again very important thing for the dashboard. I cannot have one chart with a different color, another chart with a different color. And what else is recommended in dashboard is to keep the charts by which you are doing analysis or by which you're displaying the output of your processed raw data to be simple. Go for column charts, go for bar charts, go for pie charts and line charts, which are simpler to work with, versus if you go for a gauge chart or if you go for a Peltier chart or thermometer chart. Those are, because as it is, depending on the raw data, your summary might be easy to create or may not be easy to create. And when you aim for such charts, then again the summary becomes a little complicated to tackle. So the output give in terms of charts, but pick very commonly used charts so that it's easier for understanding. A person can understand the chart as well, and as a maker of the dashboard, you are also able to create the charts very easily, create the summaries very easily. So this is all about the basics of the dashboard. Just to recap whatever we have done today, what is basically a dashboard? Dashboard is a graphical representation of my raw data based on which I do quick analysis using charts. So graphical representation over here is done by charts. When you work for dashboards, we try to create 3 sheets, and we are going to hide 2 sheets and just keep one unhidden for the user. So we have one sheet called the raw data, where we have all the data by which we are creating the chart. Then we have a sheet called a pre-processing sheet, where any kind of calculation I'm doing, any kind of list that I'm putting for my data validation list, any kind of summaries that I'm creating has to be in this particular list. And we do not put any kind of calculation in the raw data because we don't want to mess the raw data. So raw data is kept in a different sheet, This processing is kept in different sheets. And the third and the most important sheet when it comes to the user is the dashboard. In the dashboard, we will have drop down list from where a user can go ahead and pick one of the options, and charts would be there. Now they are called dynamic charts, but why the dynamic? Because as and when the person is changing choice over here, it is getting changed in my summary also, and when this gets changed, my summary numbers get changed. And since the summary from where the table from where these charts are coming, they get updated, and hence automatically the charts also get updated because it's linked. So in the dashboard worksheet, you will put the charts depending on the what the user wants. So you have to sit with the user and understand what is that they would like to see when from this raw data, and what is the thing that it's very important for them to analyze. And then you can have charts, and you can have some fixed statements that will give more information, which will readily give information to the user. So this is all about charts. Any questions for me?